Today, we're going to talk about how to submit a bid. There are a number of times that either myself or your regional manager or your area manager come to your property and you have a fence and we say, hey, what can we do for you? And you said, I'd really like my fence fixed. And we say, hey, get us a couple bids and we'll take a look at them. This is the new way to submit those bids. And I just want to walk through what this is going to look like, how we do it. It's pretty self-explanatory, but I did want to make sure that we could cover this and take care of things for you with regards to giving you as much information as you can to complete this. This is just a form, and this link will be posted in the portal underneath the links section. And so you can get to it from there. Also, any supervisor has this that they can get to you. So you just come to this bid submission form. And notice it says this is for initial bids to be approved only. No invoices get submitted here. Those need to go to billing@securecare.net. This is just for bids. Projects that have not been approved may need to be approved, any of those things. So we're going to go ahead and just walk through this. We're going to start and we're going to say, okay, what's the store number? And all of your store numbers are listed here. So you can go through and pick your store. I'm just going to go ahead and put home office, name of person submitting the bid. That'd be you. If we have any questions about the bid, we know exactly who to contact. The vendor name, this is the vendor that you'd like to go with. So each of this is for per project. You're not going to submit 3 of these for the 3 different bids, and I'll explain that here in a moment, but this is going to be the vendor name that you want to go with. So out of the 3 fencing companies that came to you, you're going to want to take care, you're going to want Joe's Fencing or ABC Plumbing if it's a plumbing job. It's whatever that is that you want to go with. So we are going to go ahead and just say, okay, we want ABC Plumbing. Project type. There is a huge list here. If your project or whatever you're working on is not in this list, please email me and let me know, and I will update this list. But for the time being, get it as close as you can until I don't want you guys to hold off submitting a bid until I fix something. So just get as close as you can to one of the options that are on here. So project type, we can go through this one. We'll say it's plumbing. So we have ABC Plumbing here. The amount, keep this amount as numbers only, no commentary here. So you can't say, oh, I want it to be, $1,000 plus tax. Let's just go ahead and keep it straight to the minimum, straight to the numbers. So let's not have any other commentary, just numbers. If there is a deposit required, you're going to say yes or no. Obviously, if there is, you're going to put the deposit amount. If there is not, you just hit no and you move forward. Change order. This change order is if you've already submitted a project that was approved and you have to add to it. So let's say the fencing company came out and they said, hey, we only planned on using 60 pickets to fix this fence, but it turns out we need to have another 20 plus 2 other poles, and it's going to cost you another $1,200. Tell them you need a change order for that, and then we will have to submit the change order for that extra $1,200. And that will need to be able to be combined with the project that you'd already submitted. Your supervisors will have the list of all the project numbers that were originally submitted. Every time you submit a bid, a project number gets assigned to it. So we want to make sure we can link the change order up with the already approved bid that you had already put in there to be approved. So for this instance, this is not a project that we'd already approved and we have to add a change order. This is just the initial project. So we're going to say, no, there's not a change order, so we can leave this blank. Today's date, pretty self-explanatory. The area manager, all of the area managers should be listed. If you don't have a direct area manager, then you can put your regional manager there and then your regional manager, if that's the case there. Attach bid here. So I've saved these bids on my desktop. So what you want to do is go through and say upload. I'm going to do Pro Plumbers is one of my bids, and ABC Plumbing is another one, and then Done Right Plumbing is another one. So those are my 3 bids. So when this gets sent off and submitted, depending on what that amount is, it will go to the correct approver and their approval level. And so let's say this gets kicked to me and I want to take a look at all the different bids. Well, they're all right here. And I know that you want to go with ABC Plumbing because you put that in the vendor name and in the amount. So I'll know that ABC Plumbing is the one you want. Those can be attached here, as well as any pictures, anything else that you feel would help pertain to this project would go here. So let's say, you're trying to submit a bid for paint and you're like, my paint's really bad. You can take some pictures and put those up. I can't be in every store at all the same time. So this is a good way to help me saying, well, how bad's the paint? And then I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh my gosh, and need to get this fixed, or okay, I think we're okay, because I always have to take a look at our CapEx budget and see where things are. So anything you can add here will help. Project notes, there again, we said back here to keep this as numbers only. So you can say, taxes not included, or there is an additional, $200 shipping charge that's not reflected on the bid. Whatever project notes that will help us understand the project a little bit more will definitely help us here. So, and then the estimated completion date. This is important for our accounting piece so we can accrue for projects that have been approved and we know the invoice is coming in, but it hasn't come in yet. This is a huge help to us in our reporting features with this program. So if we say, if we get it approved, they can have it done by the end of the month. So estimated completion date, is at this time. If you want a copy of those responses, you can pop in your email address and it'll send you a copy of your responses that you have there. So once all that is done, you hit submit, and this is what you get. You get that your submission is being processed, and it's like, hey, thanks. Your bid has been submitted and is waiting for approval. And then this automatically kicks off to whoever the approver is. So whether it's, within the area manager's approval limit, the regional manager's approval limit, my approval limit, our CEO's approval limit, it'll automatically kick an email and it'll say, hey, this person just submitted a bid. And so I'll show you a copy of the email. Here's a copy of the email that says, because I asked for them to send me a copy, and it says, thank you for submitting your entry. Here's a copy of what you submitted. So this is everything here. And that's good to keep for your records because you can be like, oh yeah, I submitted this at 2:26 on April 12th. And then the next fun thing about that is as soon as you submit that, it's going to kick your approver an email saying this person has submitted a bid and they are waiting for it to be approved. And then I can pull it up once it gets into my email inbox, and I can pull up everything that you had just submitted. And I get to take a look at it and say, okay, here is the email that got approved. Or here's the email that got submitted, my apologies. And it'll look something like this. It'll say, okay, attaches a bid for your review and approval. So this comes to me and I get the Cliff Notes version of it. And then I can go in and view the request once I click on that. My apologies, it's taking a minute here. It will kick me an email, and that's what I was just waiting on for the email. It'll kick me an email, and I can go through and I can take a look at it. I can see who submitted it, so I have questions. I can email the store. I can give you a call. I can look at all the other bids that you submitted, whatever pictures you have to go with it. I can take a look at all that. Then from there, the supervisor, whoever is the approver, has the option to approve it or decline it. And they have an option to put notes in there too and say, this is declined because I would like to go with this other vendor that you chose, or this other vendor that you submitted. Please resubmit with the new vendor, or it's going to say approved, one of the two. Once that's done, you will get another Once it's done, it is going to kick you another email. A lot of these emails look alike, so you just have to make sure you're reading them. But it said this bid that was submitted has been approved, and it gives you all of the details below there. So you can be like, oh, it's been approved, or it's going to say it was declined. And if it was declined, it's going to tell you my notes as to why, or whoever's notes as to why it was declined. So this has been approved, and then this gives you the clearance to be like, hey, I need to call ABC Plumbing and I need to get them coming in, or I need to call the roof company or the fence company. Once you have this approval, you know you're good to go. So you don't have to wait for an email from your supervisor. You don't have to wait for an email from this. You don't have to wait for them to call you back. It's a pretty instantaneous process as soon as something's approved. So it's a much more efficient way to get our bids submitted and through the system. And then it is on the backside much easier for us to track and figure out what has been completed, what invoices we've received, and what we haven't. So it helps all the way around. It helps you guys, it helps your supervisors, it helps the accounting team, it helps us as a company in general keep better track as to what dollars we have out there and what projects we have going on out there. If you have any questions on this bid approval process, please, please, please feel free to let your supervisor know. I know they have a lot of answers for you. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have too. Thank you.